Digital transformation is all about driving the desired outcomes through the use of an appropriate technology. Therefore, conversion of IT and OT have become paramount. Rockwell Automation has recently inaugurated the first ever Digital Transformation Center in India to showcase the benefits of the connected enterprise and the positive impact that it can have on the businesses.
Good to see that such experience centers are coming in India, so which will help the industry to go through the use cases which are available worldwide and implement it here. And the challenges are similar across, so we need to work towards mitigating those challenges. And one thing is good to see is that digital transformation has already happened. So we are not talking about what is your digital transformation journey. So it has already happened. It's only a question of when you want to get into that boat.
An array of industry leaders and CEOs from large industries participated in an open dialogue based on the topic of boosting business through digital transformation.
Well, hello and welcome to this very special discussion of the Economic Times Digital Transformation Dialogue powered by Rockwell Automation. Digital is a word we hear all the time, but how is digital transformation coming in on the shop floor? As we start off, just wanting to get your thoughts on how you're seeing automation coming from a global perspective and what you're seeing in India.
To start with, it's all about productivity. So manufacturers and industrial companies are looking to do more with less, and the convergence of IT and OT across a wide variety of industries, and nowhere is that more apparent than in India, where the combination of a fast-growing economy, manufacturing becoming a bigger part of that economy, and talent makes it fertile ground for these advances.
In fact, I'll just move on to Mr. Gandhi. You're with Maruti Suzuki. How have you seen things change? What's currently happening?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest changes that's happening is the product life cycles are reducing very, very sharply. So we have to get in products much faster and see that it is more productive. And we make the money out of that new product that we launch. So the time taken from drawing board to production has to reduce substantially. So I think more and more of digitalization is now being used in the auto industry to ensure the shortest time period from drawing board to the production.
Mr. Saraf, yours is steel. The challenges of implementing automation at your factory is different from other sectors. Wanting to get your insights on that. How is it being done? What are some challenges and what are some of the benefits that you're seeing?
The challenge in the process industry, especially steel, is too many variables. Too many variables, and the sources of raw material are mostly Mother Earth. So, you have huge variability from there itself. So, from the sensor technology, if people can come out with solutions with quicker response time, huge dollars for me, huge, right? On the discrete side, again, if somebody improves the uptime by a few minutes a day, big dollars for me. So if somebody can actually find solutions to actually predict, the behavior of these lines, there are huge dollar opportunities are there.
Mr. Naresh, now I want to get your inputs from a larger perspective, from a sector, across sector inputs from you.
Business per se always has challenges, whether it is related to productivity improvement, trying to improve ROI, trying to grow the top line or bottom line. We have the horizontal integration of IT. For example, even though if I had an aspiration to try to ensure that my customer receives my product right, I did not have the technology at that time. So I did not have the RFID. I didn't know how to do it. So now because of that being available and it becoming cheaper, it becomes easier. For assets which are on the move, I didn't know 3 decades back that I would have a GPS which would work so beautifully. And today you have GPS available, so you know whether the trucks are going in or coming out. So that's on the horizontal side, on the supply chain, where people will be very happy to incorporate this and improve their forecast.
Mr. Velmurugan, how are you getting technology to play a key role to ensure, the quality of the product?
Coming from nutrition industry, we make product from just born babies to adult. In fact, we start from a pregnant woman. Okay. In terms of very specific to manufacturing, which category we are looking for digitalization is on the material handling. To be very precise, every product made from a 37 or 40 ingredients. everything has to be added accurately.
Yeah. Right.
This is a place where you are looking for a kind of automation. It's not about productivity, not about cost reduction. It's about how accurately I add an ingredient so that each and every box of product goes to each and every child, meets all the regulations and compliance.
I wanted to talk to Mr. Kenny. Coming to you with Deepak Fertilizers is where you've had these plants for, like you were saying, over 30 years. How do you overcome these challenges putting in new technology in an old plant, so to say?
From an old plant, how do you invest in digital in the right sense of things to get the ROI? Some of our facilities are 30 years old, like you said. So the challenge comes in trying to identify areas where investment, I think the way we are trying to figure out is we can minimize the investment in hardware essentially, because the ROI on hardware will hardly get anything because the old plants are there. So we are trying to see if we can come up with some interfaces or software-based solutions which can help in, like I heard, digital twin. So trying to look at semi-automation to some extent.
And I think the concern becomes, and Mr. Vedran, I'll come to you, is when these are larger organizations, if this automation works, and it's amazing. But if, sometimes your requirements are not matched with the correct automation, then sometimes it becomes, you've burnt your hands. Just wanting to get your inputs.
How do we approach this digitization in our companies? We don't anything thrust upon the units. We educate them how to visualize the process and where would you like to apply. So it's more the user who, for example, I told you that drones were immediately captured by our mines guys because they know if somebody is in an unsafe condition, you need drones which goes and shows them what is the condition of that person. So in that way, it's a customization from the corporate. We educate them. These are the various technologies available. These are the applications. But still, it's for you guys to look into how you are going to take inside.
Yes.
So it's a little bit slow process, but it will be a robust and steady process. That's why our purpose says, one of the purpose, we manufacture material that makes greener and smarter.
Right. Mr. Sehgal, at BPCL, what are the issues that digital transformation is helping there, or what are some of the hurdles that you're facing? How are you implementing it?
Oil and gas is a product which immediately affect masses of people.
Right.
We have to be very careful when adopting automation and second thing. Suppose just like the drone and on.
Yes.
In our case, we don't allow drone to fly in our area.
Of course.
That is prohibited area sort of thing.
Yes.
Because protection. And secondly, we have colleagues from automation sector. If I set norm Bharat 4, so if they are manufacturing some new vehicle, I have to take care of component of the oil, which should match with the auto industry.
Yes.
Otherwise, it will not work. Similarly, we can't throw out the old vehicle till 15 years. So I have to take care of the different product, which should match with the old type of technology. At the same time, it should compete with the new technology. Those are challenges where I think automation can help.
Dilip, I want to come to you on this point that he said about the technology should be fit for the organization that it's being applied in. What I'm trying to get to is the magic word customization. At Rockwell, how are you seeing this pan out?
The focus doesn't have to be on technology. The focus has to be on the outcome that you want to derive through the use of technology. And thus, the use of technology has to be appropriate. What we're trying to do, for example, is prove out use cases, right? And make sure that those use cases are A, well proven, B, well publicized so people can really reference them and then make an educated choice, to go in for them. So again, the emphasis needs to be on the outcome that you're trying to drive, right? And technology then becomes a means to the end.
I'll come to you, Mr. Prashant. Your experience at Worley.
So we are into the engineering, procurement and construction industry. So we look at digital technologies in two dimensions. One is how do we enable our clients to adopt and absorb digital technologies, because that's where they understand that we know the domain and we can help them out. And secondly, what we preach, we should adopt. So the idea behind digital technologies for us is not just productivity improvement. The paramount importance for us is the safety. How do we improve the safety using technology? How do we improve the quality using technology? Because any chemical plant or oil and gas plant, you can't really allow a human to come into the harm's field.
I think from a broader industry perspective, based on the largest industries which are there, you see a substantial interest in the safety as one of the components. So you see the oil and gas as a sharing and mining as some of the major areas where you see this implementation. Likewise, based on the additional things like the artificial intelligence and the machine learning which are available, now you are able to move to the next level, which is doing data predictions or predictive analytics, or even doing prescriptive analytics. So there is a substantial good opportunity which is available in this new area, which is the industry part, which is the manufacturing, and integrating both the front end and the back end.
I enjoyed that different perspectives of people. Somebody wanted to solve the quality problem, somebody wanted to solve productivity problems, somebody wanted to solve reach, somebody wanted to solve understanding customer needs, and so various opportunities are there through the digital transformation, and everyone is actually looking at from their perspective, how do we actually leverage to create maximum value from their perspective. So that was very interesting.
Mr. Puri, actually, I would want to come to you on this part. Your experience at SRF, and what are your thoughts on this key part of automation?
Digital transformation is all about mindset. So that is what we need to drive the whole ecosystem, being a vendor, being a technology leaders. Even the management, the promoters of a big Indian houses are looking at this transformation as a mindset change.
Right.
Not only from an ROI perspective alone.
Right.
Digital journey in India, it is still in the wave 1 level. That's what we call the algorithmic. So why do I say algorithmic? Because we have, first of all, the connectivity and also the expectations of the people that it's going to replace everything. So it's not going to replace everything. Maybe at the wave 3, 2030, when now present Gen Z, when they take over, 30-40% of the present existing repetitive tasks will be replaced.
Mr. Rao, at NTPC, how do you see technology impacting NTPC in the next few years? There's this digital transformation, this automation going to impact your organization.
Since you know there's the more emphasis on the green power, and NTPC is, along with the thermal and hydro, now you are very much into RE, renewable energies. Our thermal power plant has to operate in you have to cut down the load when the peak, you are getting the generation from the RE.
Right.
So the emphasis is now on the flexible operation of our thermal power plants. There the technology plays a great role. You are going for an advanced process controller where you can ramp up the power and ramp down the power as per depending on the requirement. Because it has to be taken meticulously, otherwise it will affect in the life of the equipments. Another, NTPC wants to convergence of information technology and OT. Operation technology.
Yes.
Because that is the main area where our focus is there. So, for project executions and all the safer project monitoring and visualization, you are adopting the drones to a great extent. And for asset performance management and all those things, so you are using this much emphasis now on IoTs and data analytics using AI and ML. So, to dig into the data, because you have got a large collection of the data for the last 10 years using different OSI PI systems, other information you have gathered out. Now it is a high time to dig into those data, find out the intelligence out of it, to get the insight out of it.
Just wanted to come to you, Mr. Gupta. With IFCO, you're reaching out to the agri sector especially and empowering the farmers. Your thoughts on how you are using automation to help that farmer who could be in this small village in any part of the country? Just wanted your thoughts.
Fortunately, in the fertilizer sector, the entire process is already digitized, except we are looking forward how to do the predictive analysis, and that really need the OEM people, how they give the module AI based. So we are working and already exploring.
I'll just move across to Mr. Ansari. How are you seeing things, technology, automation helping you there?
Cement plants have been early adopter of the technology in that way. Problem is that it is not, cement plants are a process plant. It is not as simple as like assembly line. So we also get the variety of raw materials, varieties of fuel, energy and other things. This makes the process very complex. And then say implementing it, that the intelligence at that level, it becomes a big challenge and a difficult task. Needs a lot of customization and other.
I'll just bring in Mr. Govil, your insights.
Ever since we started operations in '88, we've been fairly automated, and thanks to Rockwell. So we've been automated right from the day one, but that was largely around process automation. That's what we did. Today, as we speak, we are talking about how do we enable technology and take it to the next level within the operations. When we interacted with the top leadership, with my chairman, a couple of years back, we just figured out what kind of employees are we getting now in our organization. So what we found is that more and more Generation Z are entering the enterprise. And these are actually digital natives, okay? They have been born with the internet. So to retain them, you have to adopt technologies in your setup which they can seamlessly and adopt.
I'll just come to Mr. Jain. So you're with Hero MotoCorp. How are you seeing it? Of course, I know in Chittor you have your smart factory. So if you could tell us a little bit about what's happening there.
Two major things in our business. One is the volume, the high volume. Second is the speed. We manufacture one motorcycle in 1.5 seconds. And this is all possible, handling of this complexity and speed is possible because of the IT. Now we are also, we have implemented these emerging technologies like IoT, AR, VR, digital twin, right? 3D printing in manufacturing.
Super, fantastic. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for that really rich discussion, interesting insights have. And I just hope, and I'm pretty sure we're all going to take back some food for thought and take this ahead so that we can, provide more to the country's economy. Thank you so much. You've been watching this special episode of the Economic Times Digital Transformation Dialogue powered by Rockwell Automation. Thank you so much for watching.
The inauguration of the Digital Transformation Experience Center by Rockwell Automation has demonstrated on how a business could fix problems faster and with less disruption to production by combining data on machinery faults, production commitments, and availability of parts, along with insights into how long it would take a technician to fix the problem with the support of augmented reality.
I'm now in conversation with Blake Moret, the Chairman and CEO of Rockwell Automation. Hi Blake, thank you so much for talking to me. First up, I wanted to get your insights, your thoughts on automation. How's it changed over the last years, maybe decades, and how are you seeing it right now?
Well, we're at an exciting point in the evolution of automation in that a lot of companies that are seeking to be very competitive in a worldwide economy have automated their basic processes, the repetitive physical labor, but they're adding software and higher level services to unlock a whole new level of productivity from the data that's born from those basic automation processes.
Fantastic. Coming closer to home, so in India, Rockwell's been here for, I think, almost more than 3 decades now. But how are you seeing India in Rockwell's global scheme of things? What role is India playing there, and how are you kind of working towards that?
India is important to us in 2 very fundamental ways. First of all, it's a very fast-growing consumer of automation products and software and services. Aggressive aims at growing the overall economy with manufacturing and smart manufacturing growing within that, a very talented workforce, and the themes of digitalization. So in terms of growth of our top line, it's important, but at least as important in that is the resources that we're growing in India for worldwide functions. So we have engineering centers in Bangalore, in Pune, in Delhi. We just acquired a system integrator for software delivery, and that's only going to become more important to our enterprise in the years to come.
Fantastic. So it's great to see that you're doing all these investments in India. So how are you seeing, if I place India on the global map compared to other locations that you are around the world? Do you see India and India's services and products that are coming from here
growing in stature, growing in number, growing in size?
Absolutely, and particularly in advanced manufacturing, as IT and OT converge, a lot of that know-how is found in the large Indian companies that have been applying this within India, but are now competing very successfully all around the world to be able to deliver these concepts to help other companies become more productive.
Okay. You know, in India, when you look at manufacturing, one term that we use very often is jugaad. So as you might be knowing, it basically means like frugal engineering, frugal innovation. I'm sure that's something that automation has to face off against, because obviously Indians would feel, why do I need to put in automation when I can do jugaad and find a way out? How do you, have you come across this, and how do you, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I first became acquainted with frugal engineering when I visited a Mahindra complex some years ago, and we have to be very carefully attuned to the things that frugal engineering can teach us, because that disruption often for basic processes can expand and be used across a variety of industries. So it may have had some of its earliest roots in auto manufacturing, but those concepts can be applicable as people try to do more with less across a wide variety of industries. So we ignore those types of trends at our peril.
Okay, fantastic. One final question to you, Blake, is going ahead. Now, the important thing about automation is it keeps evolving, it keeps getting updated, and it keeps changing. So where earlier we would have said, hey, what's your 10-year scenario? Now it's sometimes tough to even say, what's your 2-year scenario? But I will put that tough question to you. What's your 2 to 5-year scenario for the route, the path that automation would be taking?
I think there's 3 basic ideas that are going to be critical. The first is for automation suppliers to demonstrate an understanding of industrial companies' best opportunities for productivity, to help them better define their business problems. The second is to combine the technology with the people, because it is about people as much as anything, and to have an engaged and capable workforce. And finally, and this will sort out the winners and the losers over the next decade, it's simplification. Making automation simpler, and the technology and the implementation is going to sort out the successful companies.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Blake, for talking to me, and we hope that Rockwell keeps simplifying stuffs for everybody on the way ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sometimes people say automation going to take away the jobs of the people. My perspective is totally different. In fact, what I see as challenge is, if I don't upgrade my technology, if I don't get into the digitalization, I'm not able to hold my next generation people, that is millennials. So I see as a fear for my retention. So I need to upgrade the technology. I need to give the latest tools available to my employees so that they feel engaged and they feel they work for a long time in the organization. So I see this as a challenge to retain my key talents.
The Digital Transformation Experience Center by Rockwell Automation is the state-of-the-art collaborative hub designed to integrate solutions seamlessly from the plant floor up through the enterprise in collaboration with strategic alliance partners to accelerate innovation and convergence for operational and information technologies through digital transformation. Powered by Rockwell Automation. Brought to you by ET Edge.